Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're going to a movie episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's here to fuck ass and suck a fuck? Whatever the hell fuck that means. With me tonight.
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds. That is when this podcast will end. I'm Phoebe Stanton.
And I'm Bill from A Gamer Looks at 40, and the only thing I can think of is one of the songs. So just pick a song from the soundtrack. It's the best part of this movie.
He's not wrong.
Hi, everybody.
And I'm John. I'm here to talk about this movie that I had never seen before.
Me either.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
So we are here to talk about Donnie Darko, directed by Richard Kelly, wrote by Richard Kelly, distributed by Newmarket Films, production company Fowler Films, whatever the hell that is, and came out in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure did.
So, I always start this off with our memories. I never saw this movie before. I knew it existed. I think I first saw it in like 2008 when I worked at Target in electronics section. I picked up the DVD and went, okay, and I read the back of it. And that's all I knew about this movie until literally I watched this today in between phone calls. Not the way to watch this movie, but when the clock is ticking, you don't have much. You have to make change. You have to do things quickly.
It's fair.
And Phoebe, what is your history with this movie?
My dad bought me this movie sometime around 2002 to 2003 inside of a Newbury Comics in Braintree.
And Bill.
I think this might have been a Netflix rental. I'm pretty confident that's correct. Again, back in the days when Netflix sent DVDs to your house, I'm sure this was one of them. This is one of these movies. This kind of came out when I was really getting back into movies, like in that 2000, 2001 era. And I was really hungry for more independent films. And this is one of them. This is and again, the success of that, of whether or not you appreciate it as an independent film, I think varies. I remember liking it. I own this. I don't know why I own this, to be perfectly honest. I own this on Blu-ray, so I was able to watch the director's cut. I watched the director's cut this time around. I'm curious what y'all watched. We'll talk about it. I think this is a very respectable movie. I respect this movie quite a bit. I don't like it very much, but I respect the hell out of it. And we'll discuss exactly why.
And John.
I had never heard of this movie before I bought the Blu-ray for Steins Gate. That is my favorite anime of all time, and I believe the best piece of time travel media ever made. But on the back of the box art, they reference Donnie Darko being an inspiration for Steins Gate. And after watching the movie, I can very well see it. It is like there's a lot of parallels between the two of them. That's the first time I'd ever heard of it.
Steins Gate is a very good anime. I did not know that it was like that this movie had influence on it.
Yeah, on the back of the box art, on the back of the Blu-ray set for Steins Gate, what's it say? It's like Steins Gate is if you take Donnie Darko and The Big Bang Theory and mash them together. And
you take one good thing.
Pretty accurate, actually.
Having watched, like, I enjoy Big Bang Theory. I will admit that.
I do too.
They are very. It's a good description of Steins Gate. Yeah.
Okay. And Phoebe, do you have a plot for this movie that you want to do? Because you don't want to hear mine.
Yeah,
I have one.
Back of the box, Phoebe.
Well, if you had warned me about this earlier, I could have written one up. But basically, this is a movie about a very troubled teen named Donnie Darko, who may or may not be hallucinating this imaginary friend, a demonic-looking bunny named Frank. Time travel, alternate universes, those ensue, or maybe it's all just his final dream to accept his incoming death.
Yes, and time travel-y things happen, and nothing is really explained. May I state my thesis on this?
I can explain later.
Well, here's the question. First, Mike, I think before we get into the nitty-gritty of this, I think, as I said in our little messenger thing, the provenance of this movie, I think, is very interesting because the story of Donnie Darko getting made is probably better than I'd like to see a documentary about this movie getting made. Probably better than the actual movie itself. Is there a documentary?
It is on so I have the 4K Arrow video box set for this movie. And it comes with the theatrical and the director's cut. I watched both of those today. And in the theatrical, it has well, I can't remember what the name of it is. It's probably on YouTube. It's like an hour and a half long documentary of the movie getting made. It's pretty good. I watched about 45 minutes of it.
Okay, it's it's a very interesting movie. So this course came out in 2001. The director by the name of Richard Kelly. He graduated from USC, which is the best film school in the country. A lot of directors come out of USC. Number one. Number two is probably NYU. So this is probably the greatest student film ever made, with all the hallmarks of a student film and all the mistakes of a student film and all of the reckless abandon. And here's the back up a little bit. My brother went to film school. He did not go to USC, nor did he go to NYU, but he went to film school. And he, for his final project, made a feature film. He made a feature-length movie, a 90-minute movie when he didn't have to. You just have to do something good. But he did something very ambitious. He wrote it and directed it and edited it. And it's okay. He will tell you, be the first to tell you there's issues, but there's something in it that I look at. And there's a couple of scenes I can look at my brother's movie and be like, ooh, there's a filmmaker in there. I can see someone growing. And there's a lot of that in this movie. But there's also a lot of Richard Kelly just being an inexperienced filmmaker. And this is an extremely ambitious movie. Again, he came out of USC, was shopping around this script, caught the eye of some people in the know, Drew Barrymore being one of them, who's also in this movie, helped finance it. And long story short, got a bunch of people together to make a movie. And then got it released in the prime of 2001. And that's an era where there was a lot of these kind of movies coming out, it felt like, in that era, or at least I was aware of. You had A Beautiful Mind came out that year. Mulholland Drive came out that year. The auteur filmmaker, Hollywood was kind of hungry for that at the end of the 90s, beginning of the 2000s. So you had a lot of these directors making these kind of prestige movies. And as a first effort, this is extremely admirable, but it's not. I wish he had made this when he had more experience under his belt, because I think it could be actually fantastic. As it sits, it's fine, but it's very admirable. Richard Kelly went on to do not much of anything after this movie. Unfortunately, he didn't do much. He made directed three more movies. Oh, actually wrote three more movies and directed two. One of them is Domino. He wrote that. Oof, that ain't great.
I wanted to see that, but only because Carrie was in it.
Right, and then he directed Southland Tales in 2006, and in 2009 directed The Box, neither of which I saw, neither of which did much of anything, and he hasn't done anything since then. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a weird situation of a guy who really hit it, because this movie is beloved. This is a cult classic. It made next to no money, I think, when it came out.
Cult classic.
This is a weird
status.
Yeah, it's a weird movie that captures a certain era and a certain vibe and a certain type of, I think, personality as well. I think a lot of your enjoyment of this movie is when you see this. This is definitely something I think I would have been super into if I'd seen it, when I was 17, 18, not belittling anybody who likes it now, obviously. There's a lot to like in this movie. There are some really great stuff in this. Not when I was in my late 20s. I mean, actually, I saw, I guess later 20s, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know. What was your takes on it, everybody? Because I think I've kind of stated my thesis to a certain extent.
For me, it was a lot of Scott Pilgrim. This is boring. There was a lot of that. I just couldn't get into this movie. I tried. I mean, I watched it under the wrong circumstances because I wasn't able to just put this on and watch it in one sitting like you're supposed to with a movie. Too busy. But it just is weird to me. Didn't really make sense. I had my own idea what the ending was, and I could be right, sure, but it's just. And then when I was watching a YouTube video and they kind of talked about some of there's certain stuff in the director's cut that's not in the theatrical cut that talks more about the time travel. I'm like, that should have been here, because I just thought of the time travel book was all just cuckoo-ness and had nothing to do with the actual story when it's the whole point of the story.
All right, so that's the thing. There's, in the director's cut, when it's kind of cut up into the chapters, they actually read the philosophy of time travel, or they post a page or something like that.
Yeah, they post a page. Yeah.
But on the original DVD, which is the one that I have, the book is a special feature, and it's not long. It's only like 12 pages, and they're fairly quick reads. So it does explain a lot, but I don't think you actually need it because a lot of the movie is up to your personal interpretation as well. Like, is this the final dream of somebody who's already troubled and things are getting a hell of a lot worse for him? That's completely up in the air. There are a lot of people that debate whether or not the director's cut is the better version or not.
I don't. Well, first off, Phoebe, it sounds like you like this a lot. Is this something that you would say you enjoy?
You gotta remember, like, I was no, when this came out, this is 2001, right? So I would be around 10.
Okay.
And then gained this movie about when I was 12 or 13. So
Okay, so right in the pocket. Yeah, this isn't
the perfect time to watch this movie, even though it's R. So I used to watch this movie all the time. It's been a while since I've watched it, but it's easily grabbable. It's on my physical shelf. Going back to it was very interesting. The parts that I didn't remember because it's been so long, and parts I did remember, like 28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds, is permanently ingrained into my head.
And what about you, John? Where did you land as far as just like yay or nay?
Oh, by the time I got before I started watching it, I was debating should I watch the theatrical or the directors. And so this morning I meant to watch it last night and I fell asleep. Woke up this morning, like got out of bed, sat in my chair, started watching the theatrical version, and like by the end of the movie, I was sitting here like I freaking loved this movie with the theatrical version.
I'm glad.
I am really happy I didn't watch the director's version first because I don't know that I would have liked the movie. I do not care for the director's cut at all.
I agree with
It's got a couple of things that I think are like, I won't say necessarily added, but there are a couple of things that I was like, okay, all right, that actually explains the one. Like, I was perfectly happy by the end of the theatrical version of where the movie ended, like, and my understanding of it. And I also love weird mindfuck movies. These are my bread and butter. So, but by the end of the director's cut, I was like, man, it just, a lot of the stuff added to the director's cut, I think, ruins a lot of the pacing.
Yes, I agree with you. I think the theatrical cut is better. I think the theatrical cut is the more interesting movie, where the director's cut may make a little more sense. But I think in the explanations that it gives, which I think are really ham-handed, to be honest with you, I think the director's cut is kind of cheesy a little bit, and some of those cutaways with the pages and all that.
The weird flashes with his eye and the like computer.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what this is supposed to be telling me. Why is this here?
Right. And I think the theatrical cut is the better version. And I've seen the theatrical cut a couple of times. That's why I went with the director's cut this time. They make some changes to the soundtrack, which I think it was I guess I don't know, it was a negative or positive. I think it was fine either way.
It's different.
Yes, the first song they play is a different tune. I think it's an interesting movie, but for what I come to movies for, which is usually acting and story and characters, that's where this movie falls short. And I think a lot of the headcanon for this movie is way more interesting than the actual movie itself.
All right.
The theories and the fan theories, all that stuff is fun and good, but none of it, for me at least, and again, I could be totally wrong, none of that's in the text. And that's when I kind of go, that's why I wish he had kind of waited on this until he was more accomplished as a storyteller.
So there is one thing in the text, and at the end of the movie when it talks about like that some people will remember like the alternate timeline. Is that in the theatrical version too?
No, it just shows Patrick Swayze crying. Frank touches his eye. Gretchen and the mom give like this kind of like nod or wave to each other, almost like they are.
Oh, because of
they did have an interaction, even though they've never interacted before. I have a real quick question though. When you guys said that they replaced the starting song, do you mean they replaced Echo and the Bunnymen at the very, very beginning of the film in the director's version?
As soon as he wakes up and gets on the bike, it's a different song. I cannot remember what the new
Yeah, but
song
that's
was.
I was gonna say that's Echo and the Bunnymen that plays,
Yeah.
which is so weird because that's like the main theme of the film is the Killing Moon. Because
Yep.
one of the key lines of that song is "Fate up against your will."
Yeah,
Which is
no,
the
they
whole
changed that.
epitome of what this movie is.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting. It's a very interesting. I noticed it on this watch through of the director's cut, and I was gonna go back and watch like see which one I preferred. I just forgot to do that. I actually watched this last week. I thought we were recording last week on this. I was super
sorry.
early. No, it's fine. No, not your fault. I'm the one who can't read a calendar, not you, sir. You're fine. I'm the one who has no idea what he's doing at any given moment. All good. But yeah, they did change. I did not know that note, Phoebe. I did not get that piece.
See, and that's so weird to me because I've never seen the director's cut. I don't even own the director's cut. I want to. I know that
it's an interesting artifact, and I think
Boingo got inserted into the soundtrack, which is amazing to me.
Yep,
I
sure did.
The director's is worth a watch. I just didn't care for it over the theatrical.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking the director's cut, but like I'm not sitting here going like, oh, don't watch the director's cut. But do not watch the director's cut for your first time through the movie.
It's gonna be like my 400th and first. So
I want to watch the director's cut now if I ever go back to this movie, but I don't know if that will ever happen. So I didn't hate this movie. It wasn't as bad as some stuff I watched. It's just like what Bill had kind of said, this is such an artistic movie. This is kind of like Under the Skin for me, where they're going for a feeling, and I'm just like a 13-year-old kid with looking for something else. Like, there's just, I don't know. I mean, I can watch artistic movies. We've done it on this podcast plenty of times, but this one, I think I also don't like the whole idea that you're playing the game of, is it mental illness or is it supernatural? I don't think I like that.
And I don't mind playing that game when the characters are interesting and the story beats are interesting. And I don't think, and you actually hit on something very interesting, Mike. And that's one of my big problems with Donnie Darko is that it feels like an artistic movie instead of just being an artistic movie. That's the student film nature of this. I think some magazine rated this as like the number two best independent movie of all time. And I don't know if I agree with that per se, but I think it's one of the best student films ever made. And again, I admire it so much for just going for it. Because I love when filmmakers go for it, especially when you're young, you got nothing else to prove, and he just went for it. But I don't think he had the skills. He did not know how. I think nobody talks in this movie like human beings talk. It feels like everything feels very writery. I do think he captures he captures a lot of that like high school annoyance, how annoying high school can be. He captures that very well. I don't think the dialogue's terribly good. I think the acting is very hit or miss. There's lots of things, but again, I think there's actually really good stuff in this too. So,
and there's a lot of big actors in this, and I have a problem with I like Drew Barrymore and Patrick Swayze, and they just feel like. Well, I was thinking to myself, like Drew Barrymore's a terrible teacher. I was thinking that throughout this movie. I hated all the teachers. All of them were just, to me, trash.
Really? Julia Miller, I thought was the one that was actually kind of cool. Like, she wanted to bring, real, she wanted to bring like real literature.
I don't know. I didn't like the way she talked to the students.
No, yeah. Well, I didn't
bothered
like
me.
I really well, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that's very bothersome.
Like the whole, when they're using the promotional videos of Patrick Swayze's character.
Oh, yeah, that's terrible.
Like, where it's fear and this, and I'm just like, this is, why are you, I don't know. For some reason, the way the teachers talk to the students bothered me because it felt very condescending. Like, there's, when the new kid comes in, for example, and she's, sitting next to the cutest boy in the room.
Yeah, that's.
She's like, somebody get up. It's like, why are you doing that? Like, it should have just, I could see the joke being sitting next to the cutest boy in the room and the only table, and they fan to it. There's a table out in the middle of nowhere because that's all that's left type of thing. So I could see it, joke in that sense. But the fact that the way she says some of these things, just, I don't know. It bothered me. Again, this is stupid, but I just didn't like it because it felt, maybe I don't like when teachers are like that because then I feel like you're inciting and bullying among the kids. Again, this is a movie. I don't know why I went this deep into it because the movie didn't. But it was something I thought of with Drew Barrymore's character in this. I mean, no, the
It's
book,
the
we're trying to
80s.
introduce a story that ends up tying along. Also, it's one of these things that what's really true because you can't trust the narrator type of movie, too.
Right.
And none of it's real. It's one of those weird things.
So where does everyone land on the because again, the central point of this obviously is, hey, this could be a dream, this could be a delusion. When I watch movies like this, I usually default to I accept it as delivered. So I accept this all as actually happening. There is a Frank that he is seeing that is guiding him through all this chaos and these ever escalating shenanigans. I think I take it all literally, and I just how I like watching movies. It's just what I default to when I'm confused. Where does everyone else land on whether this is the delusion of young Gyllenhaal or is this actually happening?
John, I want to hear you.
Oh boy. There's a part of me that wants to say both.
Yeah.
That I do think he is mentally ill, but I also believe that like there is something, I don't want to say supernatural because I don't really think it's supernatural, but there is like a time travel element to it. Like maybe did he hallucinate himself into the future? Is he seeing an alternate timeline of what would happen if he didn't die from the jet engine and he wakes up in the bed that night and like he's going to die?
You're still kind of on the fence with it. It sounds like you're still kind of like, I just don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and I know. I like
Okay.
who was Frank? Because like how did he know what Frank looks like? Did he know Frank outside of before he shot him in the head? Like, because you see Frank take off the bunny outfit and he could see his face. It looks like, I would think if it was a hallucination, maybe they would have him played by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Sure.
the real Frank come in. Like, it does make me think of like, okay, he shot Frank. The time travel thing happened. Frank got taken back. He is now a hallucination. Is he like a time echo? Like that, there's a lot of questions, and that's like why I love these kind of movies, because I will be setting on these questions for months to come, going back and thinking about them every once in a while.
Yeah.
I there's a lot of questions. Some of them get answered. Most of them don't.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's what they were going for a little bit.
Yeah. Phoebe, what's your take as the resident expert? As the resident fan.
Resident expert.
Yes, as the resident expert.
You're the reason this movie happened, Phoebe.
Oh God.
You suggested
Thank you
it
for that, by the way.
in
I'm glad I
February
saw
of 23.
this. I'm glad I watched this again.
I have owned this movie for like 4 years, and I've not had an excuse to watch it yet.
I think it's all real.
Good for you, Phoebe. That's good. I like that. I like it. Take it literally. Okay. So here's my question then. So we're not going to go beat by beat, I don't think.
No, I don't.
There's a lot in this, but we can just jump to the ending if we want to just really time travel this podcast episode and really just go off the rails. I don't understand, and I've never understood. And maybe Phoebe, you can explain to me as the resident expert. How does he get blasted back into his room when the jet engine to his mom's plane falls through his roof? How does that event occur? Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
And my brain hurts when things don't make sense.
All right. I get to explain this now?
Yes.
Hey, you volunteered.
All right.
When you suggested this 2 years ago, you volunteered without knowing what you were volunteering
before
for.
I do this, a question needs to be asked.
Okay.
Because terms are going to be used that I'm hoping everybody will understand, but just need to make sure that everybody will understand. Has everybody here seen the first season of Loki?
Yes.
Yes.
A long time ago. Yes.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right. So
Now I'm excited.
Yeah, because I like Loki a lot.
how this movie's universe works is that there is a sacred timeline. We are not watching the sacred timeline. We're watching a splinter timeline that happens because in the sacred timeline, according to Destiny, Donnie is supposed to die. He does not die on October 2nd. That creates a new timeline. But the thing is, much like in Loki, there is the potential for timelines to destroy the prime sacred timeline. Any splinter timeline the energy from it will eventually, after a certain point, because they cannot stay stable for so long, they will become a black hole, and that black hole will destroy all timelines, all of existence. That's what the tornado vortex thing is at the end of this movie.
Okay, so the tornado vortex at the end is the end of days as premonition. So basically,
for multiverse, yeah,
for
including
multiverse. So
prime
basically,
timeline.
so now is Frank then, to use Loki terms, is he part of the organization? Is he like
Yes.
the Owen Wilson character?
So if you die, so because a future point of him died in variant timeline, his ghost became a member of the TVA and traveled back in time to go to variant Donnie and said, "Hey, you're the reason this is all going down. Unfuck this up." Variant Donnie's destiny is to unfuck everything so that way Prime Donnie can die. Now, of course, Variant Donnie has to take the place of Prime Donnie because there's only one version of you. Like in this version of how time travel works, technically everybody's still their prime selves. They're just now stuck in alternate timeline for now.
Okay.
So because when you become a member of the variant timeline, if you are the primary focus as to why that new timeline got made in the first place, you get special abilities like the ability to see the fourth dimension. That's what all of the water spears are. They are everybody's predestined things. So even if Donnie died, the Halloween party was still probably going to happen, and everybody was going to take those courses.
Gotcha. So we are watching in the movie Donnie Darko. We are watching the alternate timeline that's about to screw up the main timeline in which Donnie has to die. So this is a very Calvinist kind of thing where everything's predetermined, but because we have free will, things can get a little screwy in the timeline.
Yes,
and
Donnie's
Frank
death.
is the TVA.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay.
My issue with that,
because Donnie becomes the main focus, like I said, he gets like the weird fourth dimensional time powers, like seeing the water spears, but that also allows him light little bits of super strength. That's why he's able to stab that barrier around Frank. That's the ghost. And when you notice when he stabs it, Frank's eye glows because that's where he gets shot in the future. And that also explains why he's able to drive the axe into the 10th buffest furry statue I've ever seen in my life.
Good gravy. That is a beastly...
That is a buff dog. What the hell? What's
it looks humanoid. And I'm like, why does this look humanoid? Like, what's the point of this, people? Come on now.
This was the 80s? That's a school in 2010, assuredly.
That is a Texas school where it's trying to like assert dominance.
Is it really?
No, it's not. I'm sure there's some Texas high school in my neighborhood in area that has some overly aggressive thing. Yes.
That's the thing. So when the book, The Philosophy of Time Travel, if you go in the special features or if you watch, I guess, the director's version, it does explain that like people that they call it the living receiver in the book, and it's the person who becomes like the main focal point. So they're the ones who get all the powers, but there's kind of like a fourth dimensional aura around them, and people who are exceptionally close to them will start acting weird because maybe two timelines are influencing them or whatever. So that's why all the teachers are so weird, and even some of the parents are weird, is because they've got two timelines or whatever interacting with them at the same time.
So, but here's the question: this is here we go, Mike. If we're gonna talk about time travel, we got to bring up my.
I like time travel normally.
I don't. I actually really don't. But
I know you don't.
This is so. Is it like BioShock Infinite then, where there's infinite amount of timelines? And if there's an infinite amount of timelines, this is my same question with Loki. If there's not an infinite, is there an infinite amount of timelines, or is there like a set amount of timeline?
No, there is only supposed to be one timeline, and very, very rarely something will go off course to make an event like this happen, because the philosophy of time travel states two other examples, which is so every variant timeline has an artifact that is the main quote-unquote item for why the variant got made. Here it's the jet engine.
Right, and in Control, it's the little things, little artifacts. It's another time traveling movie.
If we're gonna talk about BioShock Infinite, it's the baby.
Yeah.
Do we take
So there's
baby or
always
do
a
we
jet
keep baby?
engine? What you're talking
There's always a
Do we get
lighthouse.
Actually, I guess it's the baptism.
Yeah, it's really the baptism. Yeah.
But in the book, it explains that two other events happened way in the past. It was a Mayan warrior got hit with an arrowhead, but nobody was standing on the cliff that the arrowhead was shot on. There was no bow. There was no person. Where'd the arrow come from? And then the other one is just a knight randomly in the middle of a field during medieval times got like beheaded or chopped in half with a sword, but there's no warrior around him. That's because the sword went through a vortex and came out the other end. So what's interesting?
I have a question, Phoebe.
Okay,
where the hell is this in the movie?
Hey, well, yeah.
in the director's cut or in your
Headcanon.
in your DVD special features.
So I watched this entire movie and they talk about the time travel, but it wasn't until the movie ended and I watched YouTube did I actually absorb that this movie is about time travel. When I walked away, I'm like, oh, he's dead the whole time and he's in limbo.
So that's an interpretation, yeah, like Jacob's Ladder, and that's completely fine. That's a really good way of seeing this movie.
Yes, but but by having all the time travel bullshit, that's not what it is then.
So,
because you wouldn't have that if that wasn't meant to be a plot point and a reason for your story. If this was just limbo with him trying to come to terms, you would have a different movie. You'd have a better movie.
So here's the thing. So there is a sequel to this movie called S. Darko. It's on my shelf. I bought it like 2 years ago because saw it at a store for $1 and went, why not? Have not watched it yet. Heard it's one of the worst things in human existence.
It's not. I heard it's not great.
Richard Kelly does want to make a sequel to this movie. James Cameron has tried to talk him into making a sequel to this movie.
He's got friends in high places, this guy.
Yeah, right?
I don't know why he's not making movies.
I don't think this movie needs a sequel.
No,
I think this movie should either stay standalone or, if anything, make a prequel. Because I want to hear Roberta Sparrow's story.
Yes. Please.
The fact that she
That'd be cool.
stopped being a nun to write a book about philosophy of time travel that was 100% accurate. And then, for whatever reason, in both the prime timeline and the variant timeline, is constantly walking back and forth to a mailbox, waiting specifically for a letter that a kid in 1980s Iowa is supposed to write, even though she wrote this book sometime in like the 50s. Where did she get that info from? I want that story.
Same. I also don't like, because to me, the whole with her wandering, and this is partly, again, I have a connection to dementia, things like that, mental illness, when it comes to personal life, professional life. So I'm a little bit more judgmental when you use that as an arc in your story. Like her wandering across the street to check the mailbox, just walking in the street, my brain went, man, someone needs to get her in memory care. But then again, this
was the 80s.
I know. They just locked you up in the 80s. I know.
Like that's the thing is, I'm gonna be the smartass who was born in 91 going, oh, this was just the 80s, right? But I had teachers that were like this.
So, I mean, that bothered me, but that's a non-reason. But the mental illness part does bother me because the movie uses it a lot, and I don't like the way they use it. I know in the director's cut, there's a comment where they say that he's actually taking placebos this whole time, that they aren't real meds.
Yes.
Oh,
which
really?
is not in the...
Yep.
Yeah, it's not in the theatrical cut. I almost watched theatrical cut. Actually, both are on Amazon, which is not normal. They're just right next to each other. Like, oh, which one do you want to watch? And normally Amazon will give you one and make you pay for the other, not put both with Prime. So I was a little surprised with that.
Yeah, it's like right toward the end of the movie, the therapist is like, by the way, you can stop taking the pills because they're placebos. They're not real. And he's like, okay, thank you. And that's the majority of the scene.
That's so interesting because there's a bit earlier in the movie when we've used the F word already in this episode. It's games my mom found. Who cares?
As long as the word is fuck, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we love the word.
This episode is going to start off with me saying the line I almost didn't get right.
How does one suck a fuck? What's a fuck ass? So our wonderful therapist, who deserves to have her degree taken from her, puts him under hypnotherapy, and he's talking about fucking a lot. Like, how's school? Oh man, I'd fuck all the teachers in the school. How's your family? I wouldn't fuck any of them. That's crazy. What? He starts unzipping his pants, and my brain's going, oh, he's not under hypnosis at all. He's just messing with her. But then by the halfway point of the movie, you realize, oh no, this is 100% real because he is having mental breakdowns and everything while in this state.
And the fact that that's not clear, I also too, when he was in that scene, for me, I'm like, okay, Richard Kelly, you can delete things. I say this all the time on this show, and I don't know why directors don't and writers don't. You can just hit that key, click, click, click.
Oh,
just
speaking of delete things,
you don't need that scene. But I thought he was doing like the Goodwill Hunting thing when Will is on the couch with the therapist and he starts talking about stuff and. Oh, I know. Sorry, made everyone sad.
I'm okay with that because he's supposed to be a teenager, and that feels accurate to a teenager. That all they want to do is fuck because hormones. Speaking of scenes that could be deleted, the fucking scene about talking about the Smurfs for like 2 minutes while they're drinking, delete that. I don't need to talk about how Smurfs fuck.
No,
I don't need that.
No, because it allows him. It shows that there is a grounded conversation. I don't want to word it like that. It shows that he does have a support group in a way. He does still have friends who support him, even though he's going through all of these mental issues.
He should be talking. I mean, it could have been better. Have them talking about school. Have them talk about a girl at school. Why are we having a whole conversation about do Smurfs fuck and Smurfette and where she
Did you never have a talk to people about how Gargamel was actually the creator of Smurfette? I've had conversations.
No, I have not. I mean, I knew that already.
Gargamel was actually the creator of Smurfette, and that they're all
But also, who in high school is talking about the Smurfs? The other high schoolers. Okay?
And that's where I land, where it's people don't sound like they're talking in real life. They sound like they're just talking. They're reading a script, and not everyone can Kevin Smith. Can do a Kevin Smith in Clerks.
You're right, Mike. It should have been about the Snorks because the Snorks are better.
But it just feels, to kind of go with Ken, it doesn't feel real. It just feels stupid. And like even the name of the town, Middlesex, and Middlesex School, like.
I mean, there are Middlesex counties, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Middlesex, I think, New Jersey, actually. It's a real. Is
that a name of a city or a county? Because I can kind of take it with a county.
County.
I don't know. It also bothered me. I mean, yeah, apparently, okay, there's a community college in Middlesex County, Massachusetts. And there's Middlesex County Fair. But it just, I don't know, just the fact that the way they're like, they say Middlesex a lot. Okay, there's a private school called Middlesex School in Concord, Massachusetts, but I don't know.
It's a town, and it is a town in New Jersey, Middlesex. I thought so.
But this is in Ohio, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that's fine. As again, I mean, just that is
bothered me because it felt, to go back to what Bill said, it feels immature in a sense because it's so much like it's childish in a sense.
It feels writery, and the word I use is writery, and that's why that's the very student film nature of Donnie Darko. It's very written, it's very writery. When he calls the Patrick Swayze the Antichrist, like that's
writery.
Again, it's writery, and that is the trap that young directors and young writers all fall into. If you've done any sort of fiction writing, I'm guilty of this. You overwrite your characters, you overwrite the dialogue, and when people say it out loud, it doesn't sound real because it's clearly not. It's not how people talk and how people behave. And that's why, again, I really wish he had waited until he had some more skills or another more competent director took hold of this, because I think this could be very special given that. But graded on the indie movie student film curve, it's fantastic. It's a great student film, but it's not a great feature film, in my opinion, again.
But Bill, to go on to the student film thing, like I wrote a novel and I wrote short stories when I was in high school, and I wrote some shit that would have felt like that, like, oh, this is edgy. And my teacher looked at it and said, this is adolescence. Like, rewrite this. And I did. And my question is, why did no one tell him that when he was writing this?
That is
and nobody gave me $4 million to write my short story. Okay, I just
I doubt your commitment to Donnie Darko.
You're right. It's hard to argue that point. That why didn't Julianne Moore say, "Hey, let's do some edits on this"? I don't know.
Well, she wasn't actually the first one to come on board. There was another guy who was originally going to play Donnie is the one who got the ball rolling, and then he had a scheduling conflict, so he dropped out. But then she came. She was like, "Okay, I still believe in this, and we're still going to do it." And that's.
He wrote this movie right out of college. He was 22. And again, I was writing a lot of fiction at the age of 22. And I'm sure my stuff I loathe. Ooh, Billy.
Oh
no.
yeah.
No,
Just
thank you.
remember,
Stuff's deleted. It's
nobody
gone.
likes
I don't
you.
know where it
You're
is.
22.
I keep everything. I'm sure it's in a hard drive someplace, somewhere. I have no interest in unearthing it at all. A lot of my short fiction that was published on websites, those websites don't exist anymore. And good golly, Miss Molly, I'm glad they don't. You know what I mean? Like, Billy. But and again, that's why I think the story of this, I actually am going to watch that documentary because I do have the Blu-ray, so I might as well watch it. The story of the making of this is fascinating. This is like every film student's dream. Like you get out of USC. Again, USC is the best film school in the entire country. That's numero uno, number one. I think Spielberg came out of USC and Coppola came out of USC. A lot of great directors came out of there. And you have those contacts and you get someone to notice your script out of the pile of scripts that sit in some slush pile somewhere. And it gets made. Like, this is the dream. This is the dream. And it's such a bummer that the saddest thing about this movie isn't Donnie Darko dying at the end. It's the fact that he didn't get to make much of anything else after this. And he hasn't made anything since 2009.
Yeah, but this movie still holds a cult following. I mean, we're talking about
absolutely.
In the year 2025, and even in the past 10 years, Frank was a skin in a Call of Duty game.
This is a cultural touchstone. And because I think a lot of people saw this at just the right time, just like you did, Phoebe. You saw it at the right time where you were hungry for this kind of time travel stuff. For me, though, again, and I own it, so at some point I must have saw something like that. This is actually pretty cool. This is neat. I want to explore more because I own it, and I did not expect to see it in my Blu-ray collection. I was like, wait a minute, I actually own this movie. Why did I buy this?
Surprised.
I don't know why. I own it. Must have been cheap. Maybe I got it as a gift. No clue. But I think it's very interesting. And I think a lot of the headcanon is the most fun about it.
No, I think that's completely fair. Because, like, talking about this movie is more fun so far than watching this movie was in any shape or form for me. But to go back to the earlier point, even this podcast talking about something doesn't mean it was, irrelevant. It just means that somebody wanted to talk about it with me, for the record.
Fair.
I was going to say, it took me, 45 minutes to an hour to really get into this movie. That opening, let's see, where would I say? From like the opening to probably Cunningham's house burning. I was like, okay, this is okay. And then from there on out, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. Like the last half when it gets really weird is when I got into it, and especially from like the house party. When the house party started, I'm like sitting here like, okay, what's going to happen? They start mentioning when she mentions like that Frank went to get beer. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. There's a Frank.
That confused me too.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, there's a real Frank. And also when Cunningham was like talking about, and that's something I wanted to ask about, when he was talking about the boy named Frank, is that Frank?
No,
his life.
I think so. Like I said, and I don't think it needs to be explained within the context of the movie. I think you can be happy with all these little Easter eggs and interconnectivities. But like I said, the philosophy of time travel does state this whole idea that the people directly around you, if you're the quote-unquote living receiver, the main focus of this variant timeline, they're also going to be kind of influenced. So I think they're being pushed in a way to help Donnie towards refocusing it back towards the prime timeline, because the whole cellar doors, the two most beautiful words in the English language, the fact that they read the book about the kids flooding the house and everything. Like, everything's interconnected. So is it just him in this troubled state, sleepwalking, remembering these things, and his dream walk self deciding to do them? Or were they clues towards how to focus back towards this main goal? That is a really interesting question that I don't think needs an answer. Mm-hmm. But it all does self-actualize at the end, because everything in this movie does connect to the very end of that Halloween party. I think if none of these events had happened, nobody would have gone to the Halloween party in that way. And if that doesn't happen, Gretchen doesn't get killed, which means Donnie doesn't shoot Frank, which means Frank doesn't become a TVA ghost to go back and help Donnie. It is a self-actualizing time loop. That's main focus is to get rid of the time loop.
So here's now this lands on the main question I had earlier, which is, okay, so I get it, TVA, cool, good. How does Donnie basically replace Chrono with a Chrono doll and kill Chrono doll to fix the timeline? Like how does he actually do that?
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
I'm like, did you
Chrono
really
Trigger,
just make a Chrono Trigger?
Yes,
He
I
knows
did.
his audience that's with
I
him right now.
love it so much.
But that's kind of what he did, right? He kind of put himself
Because-
back. Yeah, he
Like I
put
said,
himself.
Like,
I'm using the term variants, but it's a variant timeline, but there's only one version of every character.
so you're
like-
asking, like, why did him dying fix everything?
Not
Yeah,
why. How? How
There's
did
a-
he fix it?
Well, there's only ever
Yeah.
one Donnie. So whatever Donnie was in the field just gets erased or whatever when he goes back to the bedroom. It's, I guess the best way to explain this part is
How did he go back
more
in time? I guess the question is, like, how did he go back in time?
with his variant timeline fourth dimensional powers.
Oh, okay.
Or he could have just been using the black hole itself, the vortex that's supposed to eat everything, as a portal to get back to his room.
Okay, here's my other question.
I'm using Loki terms because I know that's the terms that everybody will be able to
no, that's
understand.
fair.
Totally
But-
get it. I
But
appreciate
when it
you dumbing
comes
it down.
when it comes to how the setting versus the people work within this iteration of timeline, it's more like the miniseries The Langoliers, where there's only ever one.
Langoliers!
Yeah, I'm using the Langoliers here, where a place, a physical location can be in the past, but you as a living person are only stuck in the 1 second per second time travel. You're not supposed to be able to go back to the past. So none of these people are variants from an alternate timeline. They're all their primary selves. They're just stuck in a different timeline right now because Donnie was destined to die and he didn't.
So the fact that Donnie sleptwalked, but wait a minute, didn't he not get smooshed by the airplane jet? Didn't he not get smooshed because Frank was leading him away?
Yeah.
So
which again leads back to that question of, is Frank actually just a hallucination that's supposed to help Donnie accept?
Well, that just
is-
ruins the whole TVA theory. I need Owen Wilson to
This movie
explain
has
this.
80 different layers to it.
Again,
What?
amateur.
Right, and that's
And here's
and
my other
that's-
question. Is
Right.
any of this time travel stuff that you're referencing actually in the theatrical cut?
Yes. In the theatrical cut, he does talk to Noah Wile's character, which, by the way, early Noah Wile, early Seth Rogen. Holy shit.
Duperty duper.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I didn't know that
Uh,
Seth Rogen. Like, I saw one of your guys' comments. I was like, "Holy crap, that is Seth Rogen." Okay,
yeah, and
Yep.
that's
The
Noah
first movie.
Wile of The Pit, The Library,
Here's Noah
Falling
Wile.
Skies, the lanky
Pit.
kid that asks about the lanky kid at the Jim Cunningham presentation. That's Jerry Trainer. That's Spencer from iCarly.
Yeah.
yeah.
He doesn't have a line, but I
The guy
recognize
who
him
plays
immediately.
Frank is the son of Russell Case from Independence Day.
Yep.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
He's the guy. Yeah. There's people in this movie. Like, a lot of people got their start. Isn't oh crap. No, I'm thinking of
this-
something else. Never mind. Yeah. But,
This
yeah.
was Maggie Gyllenhaal's first movie.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what was the
Oh.
question?
Which is smart which is smart indie casting, because why not get his sister to play his sister? That's
And
smart
she
indie filmmaking. That's good.
she actually fought against it. She was like, "No, you can get somebody better." And he went like, "No, I want you because you have chemistry with Jake."
And you're cheap.
So yeah, this was her.
Yeah.
She had been in like a couple of like really small, 30-second scenes or something and other things,
Mhm.
but she was a stage actor until this movie. This was her first credited movie.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
go
to-
back to what, Bill, your question about the whole Frank, he's the one who makes him sleepwalk in the first place, which creates
Yes.
this variant timeline. I think the time loop already existed, and so he's helping Donnie before the time loop like kind of officially starts because he's already a TVA ghost. Because remember what Roberto Sparrow says, everybody dies alone. And he's the reason why a version of Gretchen dies. This is his atonement.
Right. So this is whose atonement? Frank? TVA Frank?
This is TVA Frank's atonement. Like, I know the time loop isn't even supposed to exist. I know that's a future point from now, but I currently exist right now. I'm going to help Donnie accept death and also help him save the universe.
So does he also?
I am the problem.
If other people remember, so now we have people out there who know that Cunningham's a pedo. Right. It's all these things that like Donnie's still. It's like Life is Strange. Like there's a lot of Life is Strange in this movie, kind of like Jefferson still gets caught, even though like what happens.
Wow, this really is Life is Strange, huh?
I was sitting here a while ago. I was like, this movie is very. You've got the tornado, the time travel tornado.
You've got a person who, because of the primary focus, get the fourth dimensional powers.
You've got some people with some possible mental illness. Like you've got an old woman who is living out behind the diner in Life is Strange who talks about time travel.
Never played Life is Strange. Is it worth it?
Yes. I think the first one is. I haven't played any of the others.
The first Life is Strange is fantastic. Before the Storm is good. 2 is okay. And True Colors is, in my opinion, the best one of the bunch. And I have not played Double Exposure yet.
Oh, okay. Neat. Anyway, okay. All of this makes, okay, I'm not going to say makes sense. It doesn't make anything. It makes very little sense. But it at least is answering some question. Again, but like Mike has been saying, none of this seems like it's in the text of the film. This is all stuff we had to suss out because it's interesting and fun to suss these things out. And I guess for me, yeah.
I don't think it needs to be in the film. I don't think it needs, because the whole thing is that this is a very artsy film. I think just by itself as an art film, as an independent film, without these answers and you taking the clues that it gives you and coming up with your own interpretation of what's going on, I think that works maybe the best.
Yeah. If you can have a cohesive story enough where you can make that work where it can be up to interpretation, but you need to have different types of clues. I mean, they talk about time travel a lot in this movie, and I thought it was just insanity because they really play up the whole mental illness. So I didn't even like I said before, I didn't even realize this was really a time travel movie. I still don't really understand it's a time travel movie. Like, I want to see, and you talk about him having like powers a little bit, like he makes a comment like, maybe I am a superhero. You saw orbs that came out of people's chests. I could have told you, oh yeah, your father got up. He's going to the fridge. Oh, look, he's coming back to the chair he was sitting to watch the game. Man, who would have guessed? Woo, I would have no idea that a man would go get a beer and come back to his chair. Whoa! And stuff like that, like, oh, this guy's going around the corner. Well, look, you look at the head. Look where his head's pointing. Like, it's not like, to me, it felt like more hallucinations. It didn't feel like, oh, I can see people's fate. All the movie did to me was push more and more that he's dealing with heavy mental illness, and then the movie's like, no, he's actually time traveling. I'm like, that is not there. I need a DeLorean. I need you to shrink and go through quantum physics. I need something to show time travel versus him sitting on a car and seeing a black hole. When you already have been told that the character is dealing with mental illness, so you could see it as him hallucinating. I thought he went there because he murdered a guy and shot him in cold blood and decided, the cops are going to come for me. I'm going to go drive off now. That's how I saw it. And I thought that the whole black hole in the sky was him imagining it because he just committed murder.
Maybe he did. Because like before he even gets in the car, he touches his chest.
Yeah, he like grabs to his stomach. Like, there's also the scene of him like one of those water lines that come out of people. He like looks into one and immediately goes, "We have to go." And in the director's cut, in that scene, he goes, "Oh God, we're time traveling." After he sees that, and that's the motivator for him to leave the party and go to Roberta's place.
I call that the Abyss juice, right? Isn't that the same effect from the Abyss? which came out around the same time. Anyone ever seen The Abyss?
I've never seen that
Wow.
movie. I know what you're talking about. 'Cause I have a
know
DVD
what
of
you're
it.
talking about. I've never seen it.
I don't. I just happen to know The Abyss juice. I don't know.
There's
Anyway.
also a line there of like you
The Abyss
have
is
to
89.
have water for time travel. Water is like a component of time travel.
Oh, is it?
Water.
Is that that whole
and
water has
metal are
memories
the
thing?
main element
I know-
of time
Yeah,
travel.
I'm not sure. There is a line in I think it's Noah Wild's character of like you have to have water, you have to have this, you have to have a ship that'll go light speed, which that plane was not
Yes.
going light speed, whatever.
There's just
Well, the
Again, I
philosophy
think
of
this-
time travel never mentions the fact that it needs to be going light speed. It's more the fact that he, as a science teacher, is
That's his
trying
understanding.
is trying to understand. Like, of course, it needs to be faster than light. That's the only way it would work. It's not the only way it would work. But as a science teacher, you're kind of obligated to say that
Yeah.
because look, he also states the line. Donnie tries to ask more questions, and it's like, we can't have this conversation anymore.
Why? That's my question. I was very
You'll
much
be
so like,
fired.
Well, he says
Why?
because I will get fired, and we don't know how.
I'm
We
like, this
learned
is-
from Miss.
I forget the character's name.
Barrymore,
That's fine.
the awful teacher. That's
Yes.
all.
This Forrest or whatever her name is.
Yeah, Forrest or Farmer or whatever. Mrs. F. Mrs.
Farmer.
F is a very, very conservative teacher.
Yes.
And they only say it once in the movie, but they do mention the state of Iowa, and that's the only hint as to where this movie could be centralized in. So, assuming that this is supposed to be 80s Iowa. And
It's interesting. I forgot about the Iowa.
stereotyping, but
Yeah.
His
The
test,
fact
your
that he's
test
trying to-
hour concerning or something.
yeah, like Noah Weil losing his job because he's going to be talking about anything.
That's
the
not on the
other-
curriculum. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I think.
Well, and
Yeah.
also that him and Drew Barrymore are together,
Mm-hmm. Yep. There are a couple.
which is something I did. You don't know until the last 30 seconds of the movie.
Okay,
They're
that's why I
very-
didn't catch it.
Yeah, I think it's a little clear. It might be a little clear in the director's cut because at least in the director's cut, there's a few scenes of them together talking in the the teacher's break room, and I can tell at least it's like, oh, I think there's a thing going on there. At least there's a thing. I think it's not explicitly stated, but I got that sense. So I don't know. I don't think again, not to restate my thesis over and over again. I respect this movie greatly for taking the stab and taking the swings, but unfortunately, when you're playing in the major leagues, you gotta hit some hits, and there's not enough hits here to warrant, for me at least. I don't know that repeat viewing. I don't know why I own this.
I'm confused too.
Yeah,
I really am.
I don't know. I really don't know why.
You should
But
watch it again and come up with your own ideas and stuff.
Oh,
I think
I'm-
that's like the best way to watch and enjoy this movie is to look for the things that you missed the first time, or now that you've seen it and have an idea, rewatch and see what strengthens or destroys that idea that you had and come up with a new idea.
see, but then in order for me to watch this again, I'd have to sit through bad dialogue and poor writing and bad.
Phoebe, what you do is you just watch better movies.
Oh, no.
Mike,
Phoebe liked this movie.
here's the thing.
And I like Phoebe, so I don't. Poor Phoebe.
Mike,
Come on.
I'm going to look you in the eyes right now. In the virtual eyes. We are also doing all of the remedy games and stuff, and Colby, Ken, everybody have probably mentioned in the past a certain show that I love and is also on my shelf. If you do not like this movie, you would fucking hate anything by David Lynch. You would hate Lost Highway. You would hate Inland Empire.
Yeah.
I've never seen
You
a
would stop
single one of his
5
movies.
minutes into Eraserhead. You'd just be like, I'm fucking done with
And
it.
but here's the thing. See, and I kind of agree. I don't like David Lynch either. He's a director I greatly respect, but I don't particularly enjoy. Although I love Eraserhead. Eraserhead is.
I want to watch some of his movies. We've talked about it, of covering some of his stuff and doing especially after he passed away. But I just haven't gotten around to it. But no, I want to, because I'm trying to open myself to new movies and new ideas. Like I was kind of excited to watch this, but I think same thing as Bill's been saying multiple times, that it just feels kind of amateurish at times. And I think that's my problem with it.
It
And
is. It's his directorial debut straight out of college.
Yes, but when somebody's giving you $4 million to make a movie, I expect I expect somebody to hand you so far. I expect somebody to be rewriting your script. I expect somebody to be looking at your stuff going, I don't expect the George Lucas situation where it's like, yes, you're right, George Lucas. Everybody wants to talk about taxes. Like, you can't. I don't expect something like that from a first-time director.
So I'm going to point you over to modern Hollywood right now, where Paul W.S. Anderson is still making movies, where Tommy Wiseau somehow is on his third movie.
Hey, Tommy Wiseau.
Where Cats exists.
Hey, Taylor Swift is in that movie. I want to see it, actually.
I
want to see her.
I was about to say I would give you Neil Breen, but no, Neil Breen's a master. Like Neil Breen is.
I was gonna say we do not talk about Cyborg Jesus enough. Do not bring Neil Breen up into this.
You cannot mock Neil Breen. Neil Breen is the one who gets a pass because that man is out of his fucking mind. And I love it when I can't wait for his new movie.
But then you go into the indie side and you get stuff like this, or Rubber, or Primer, and how you interpret those movies. Love it.
No, I think trust me. Again, I love Under the Skin. I think it's great. But that's an art movie that is artfully made. Well, you didn't like that either, right? I know you didn't like that. We spent an hour and a half talking about that many years ago. But I love that movie. But for me, that's an artfully made movie that's made with intention. And I feel like, again, just because you take a big swing doesn't mean you hit the ball well. And I don't think this movie hits the ball well in a lot of ways that, again, you can chalk up to being his first movie. Yeah, again, like I said, this is a phenomenal student film. It's great if you grade it on that curve. But again, if I'm going to grade it on that curve, again, that's why I always land on, I respect this movie greatly. I respect the fact that it's a student film, that he wrote it at USC. He took the big swing. And I think even based off the strength of this movie, he should have been given the chance to take more swings. I don't know why he didn't get that chance, but as something I'm just going to sit down and watch again and again, this is not for me. And where I could watch Under the Skin again and pick out those nuances, I'll watch Eraserhead. But to be fair, Phoebe, I'm not watching Mulholland Drive again. I don't like that movie. I don't think it's terribly good.
I can tell you why he didn't make any more movies.
Or Lost Highway.
See how much Southland Tales grossed?
Well, this movie didn't make much money either. But this was
$374,000 on a $17 million budget.
That'll do it. That will do it.
I assume the box did poorly, but I don't know how you turn a 10 to 20 minute long episode of the 80s Twilight Zone into a full-length movie.
The box cost $30 million and made $33.3 million. So that's also
Barely
another bomb.
Even. Just go watch the original episode.
I really think he deserved. Again, Hollywood is, they're not going to give you much. And this movie didn't make much money either. But again, it's more than made it in DVD sales and in prestige. And again, if this got screened at my local Alamo Draft House, the place would be packed. It'd be packed with people. Obviously, I just would not be one of them because I don't think. Again, not for me. A little too amateurish, and it falls short in a lot of the things that I just enjoy going to movies to see. So for me, not so much. But I greatly respect, again, the dream of a director at a film school making his big movie. And it's a real bummer he didn't get a chance to do it again because I think he has a lot of promise. There's still directors out there who say he's the unsung hero, like. Why? I think Kevin Smith was quoted as saying, like, why doesn't he have another movie? Hollywood needs to give this guy a chance. His movies just don't make any money.
I don't know. This is kind of off topic, but also on topic. My roommate a year or two ago showed me Equilibrium and was kind of curious whatever happened to that director. And the guy's only done 3 movies. In 2000, Equilibrium. In 2006, Ultraviolet. Yes, the semi-vampire movie. And the 2020 reboot of Children of the Corn.
Yeah, out of town.
That's a director who should have been one and done. Maybe 2 and done.
Right. Fair.
Violet, but that Children of the Corn movie
I was gonna say, yeah, that's why I say maybe two and done. But there's one.
That guy wrote a lot of movies.
Corn movie, and it is the '80s Children of the Corn.
He wrote a lot of movies. I'm looking up that director.
We should give this director another shot. Hell,
he wrote the Point Break remake. Maybe we shouldn't.
There's a 1997 horror movie called Funny Games, and the director 10 years later remade his own movie. So if Richard Kelly would like to remake Donnie Darko and just bring all the actors back,
probably could.
I would be totally down with that.
I wouldn't mind seeing a remake that is somebody who's more educated to make a movie, because there are interesting things in this movie, and the way you guys talk about it does make it sound interesting. It's just missing something for me. And
that's, I think that's the thing. Again, we not to repeat ourselves, but it's yeah, and that's the thing. It's missing something for me to warrant probably another viewing. Maybe, I don't know, if I had nothing to do on a Tuesday night and was playing Alamo Drafthouse and I had a free night to myself, maybe I would go to the Alamo Drafthouse and watch. I don't know, probably not. No, that's my money. No,
no, you wouldn't. Not just. I mean, it was $1.50. Yes. That's different. Not what it costs now for a movie.
Yeah,
yeah. You'd be like, I'll just watch this at home. Fuck, I already own the DVD that I don't know how I got. So hey, you got that. So I also want to talk about Patrick Swayze's character doesn't feel necessary in this movie, and especially where it goes later. That also to me feels a little amateur. You could have the whole thing where he calls him the Antichrist, and then you can kind of leave it at that. You don't need the scene of him burning down the house, which you could have that too, but then you have the whole thing, he's a child predator. You didn't need that.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of ideas. It's a very idea heavy movie from a young man who had a lot of ideas. I'm going to take all the swings, and not realizing that sometimes you need to show some restraint. And this movie just, again, there's good moments. I think the ending moment where with the song, with the INXS song, with all around me are familiar. Yeah, all that.
That was fun.
That's great. I think that's a really beautiful moment when everyone kind of looks back. I think that's one of those moments where I watch that and I say, oh, this is a filmmaker who knows what he's doing and he has promise.
Somebody somewhere, I don't remember where I saw this, but they talked about the soundtrack of this movie, specifically the usage of Gary Jules' cover of Mad World.
Yeah.
And a really interesting way that they interpreted it was the alternate variant timeline is almost like a dreaming world. Everybody is just going through life. The girls might not want to be part of Sparkle Motion, but they are because the mothers want them to be. And the Mrs. F is just following the guideline of Jim Cummings, and Jim Cummings is just going through life himself because money and greed, blah, blah, blah. And Mad World is such a perfect choice because they are finally waking up for the first time in the movie.
Yeah. It's a very it's a beautiful scene. I think all the scenes with Frank are appropriately creepy and weird and good. I think a lot of that works. When he's in the movie theater and turns around and he sees him sitting there. Now, how did that girl sleep through the entire movie? It's Evil Dead. I mean, you're watching Evil Dead, lady.
Which is funny because I instantly recognize it as Evil Dead, but the sign outside says a double feature of Halloween and Frightmare.
Oh, does it really? I didn't even notice that. I didn't know. I think they changed that. Did they?
The other side of the sign has, I think, Evil Dead and something else. As they're leaving the theater, or he's leaving, on the other side, it has, I think it's Evil Dead, and I don't remember what the other one is.
It was something.
And that might be only in the director's cut as well. I don't remember, but I do remember the marquee does state it is Evil Dead. I remember that.
I don't mind someone sleeping through Evil Dead. The first one is kind of
all this talking, I'm sitting here God, I want to watch this again.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
this
cool.
is a movie that you should watch more than once. It's just that kind of. I'm not going to. It's that kind of movie. I get to go back to a way earlier thing. Bill, you said in the chat, you had to think about this movie from 2001, and it fits that idea. When you're kind of you're just doing something very different. And I can see why this movie has become such a cult classic and people talk about it. And it's always one of those movies you should watch this at least once in your life type of thing.
I 1,000% agree. Everyone should see this at least once, make your own opinion of it. But again, I do agree with that to a certain extent. But not quite there for me. But yeah, I again respect it greatly, and I love when directors take big swings. But I also have to look at it from a perspective of, like we've been talking about, would I see this again? Would I watch it again? And for me, there's not enough here for me to do that again.
You say that, but you will.
At some point, probably. I may get coerced. Well, actually, I'm.
You did get
44.
coerced just now.
Well, no, I mean, this is not a coercion. Someone invited me to talk about something, and I said, sure. I miss talking about things. As much as my show is completely in a not shambles, but in a complete hiatus, I still enjoy talking. Very good. Great.
You are good at it too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
We love you, Mr. Bell.
Oh, thank you. You know, my tooth hurts, by the way. I have like this, not because I don't know how much more we can talk about. I have this weird thing with my wisdom tooth. I have all my wisdom teeth still at the age of 44 because damn it, they're mine. Yeah, they're mine, and they've never caused me a problem. But now I have this weird ache, and I have to I went to the dentist, and they're like, yeah, that tooth may have to go. I'm like, damn it. But now I have to go to an oral surgeon for that, and they're not going to see me until Thursday, and it's already been a week of this weird tooth pain. But
ibuprofen.
That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
A lovely cocktail of ibuprofen and Tylenol at different intervals, as recommended by my nurse wife, who knows pain meds.
If they have to take the tooth, get ready for an entire week or more of eating only Jello or soup.
It's
gonna be fun.
Yeah, I had a tooth pulled and I went back to normal food within a day. So
yeah,
you're insane.
I had two.
I am insane, Phoebe.
I think it was the next day I was eating solid food again.
Oh
yeah,
no,
I just
got all
on that
taken out at the same time, and
I did too.
I was out of it for a full week.
I was lucky. I only had two.
I had that when I was 17 before I moved, and I was going to be off my parents' insurance. They're like, your wisdom teeth need to come out. I'm like, well, the man's laughing now.
Yep, that's fair. I know. I've had dentists tell me, like, why do you still have them? And my answer is, they're mine. You ghouls. Why do you want to take these out of my head? There's nothing wrong.
Mine were with the tooth fairy. You don't know.
Mine were pushing on something, and they said if you don't take them out, it's going to be a problem for you. That's all. All I remember is I went there, they put me out, I woke up at home, or I woke up, got in the car, went to bed, woke up, and then pulled a bunch of bloody cotton out of my mouth. That's all I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I drink a lot of water too. Like you can sometimes swish water on that side, and that will help keep the pain away for some reason. Also, keep your hands busy. Will also help keep your mind off the pain.
Well, it's interesting because I can brush it just fine. I can brush it. It's no problem.
You're not in I unfortunately know way too much about tooth pain because I've pushed it to levels that you should not do. So I can tell you all different tricks to elude tooth pain. But one thing, if you're having tooth pain, take your ibuprofen like you are, recommended by your nurse wife, and then find something to distract your brain with that makes your hand move. Like play a game, do something, and then the pain will go away because you'll forget about it, and then you can go back to whatever you're doing. That's what I do personally when I get pain. Like I once lived through pain where I literally had to keep drinking out of a straw constantly to keep the pain at bay until I get to the dentist the next day. Because nothing, I was at the point of no return.
And I'm terrified of. I don't like dentists because I saw that episode of Ren and Stimpy when I was 14, with the teeth pulling, and that was the end of dentists for me. I did not like that. And the video for Geek Stink Breath, which was shown on MTV2 probably at midnight.
I don't like
where it's literally someone getting a tooth extracted, and they never showed it. They only showed it in certain time frames. That killed teeth for me. I don't like.
Yeah, I only had one tooth extracted, and it was
idiot.
It was awful because they started to extract it, and he couldn't get it out. He's like, I can't finish this, and I'm like,
no,
that's not okay.
I've heard stories of people waking up in the middle of their tooth extractions. I've heard horror stories of people waking up in the middle of. I told my dentist. She was
I was
nice.
awake. I wasn't. It was just a tooth, so I wasn't I wasn't sore.
I
had to go to
a specialist. I told the dentist. I said, "Hit me on the head with your biggest Acme mallet and just knock me unconscious. Whatever you have to do to make me not experience anything, I will do. I don't care what you have to do. That's fine. Experimental hallucinogens, so I don't feel this." That's fine. Great.
Oh, you say that. That's what happened with me. They say countdown from 10. I got to 9, and then the very next second, I was on a sofa somewhere, and I was like,
Yes, it is great.
Hey, that's the way to have your teeth taken out, okay? Anytime. Why are we talking about teeth?
I was after my back surgery.
Oh, back surgery.
That's the right way to do it. Just be uncomfortable. I don't want to be there.
Sorry, I started talking about my tooth hurt. You said I like to talk, and I'm like,
this is the natural course of a Games My Mom Found episode.
It is. we're making our conversation longer, so it looks better on the episode. And when I post it on YouTube, it might be the whole movie. Suckers, it's not.
I love that. Can you just check to see how much Thor: Dark World has? Please, just I haven't updated.
Like how many downloads it has?
How many times people clicked on it? Because for back when we first started when I first started putting these on there,
the YouTube video.
I don't know why, but for some reason, people were really looking for that Thor: The Dark World movie.
And no one want to pay for it.
34,000 views.
Oh, imagine that. That's so good. I love that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's why people tried to get. There was a little bit of phase where people kept my podcast the YouTube channel got taken down twice in 3 days, and I'm pretty sure it's because people were upset that the movies aren't movie episodes or aren't the actual movie. And they were reporting me as fake.
What I really like is going through the list. It is so weird because the original Thor, you have 42 views, Thor Ragnarok 36, and then Thor: The Dark World 34K, Eternals 15, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 1.1, Age of Ultron 11K.
Yeah,
I don't.
Every once in a while, the algorithm picks it up and says, "Hey, I don't know."
It's not what people want.
It's more along the lines of it's like the most mediocre to bad of the MCU movies are the ones that everybody's looking up for free. Because, I guess Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is the best Guardians, but
that's one of the worst movies in the whole MCU. That's another conversation.
But Age of Ultron, really? That's the one people were looking for, and you have 11K views on. No offense, but what the hell, people?
It's just weird to me, and it still happens sometimes. I mean, every time I publish a movie episode, it says podcast in the title, so people know it's a podcast. It ain't the movie, guys. I didn't put the movie on YouTube. I didn't get past it.
It's a triple misdirect. You labeled it as a podcast, but it's secretly the movie. I mean, it was to get around the YouTube.
YouTube pretty much automatically just grabs things and it knows. It's pretty smart. So, I mean, I can say that for a fact. My son did once. It grabs stuff really quick and it knows what you're up to. So, no, when they do the whole checking everything, they know. They're able to do. I mean, that's why I don't publish it. That's why none of my episodes have music in them because they can't go on YouTube. So I don't. Yeah. All right. Any last thing to say about Donnie Darko? Or should we go to Shelf Stacker Box?
Sir, we can't do Shelf Stacker Box. It can only be love or fear.
So I'll go first.
Actually, I'm really disappointed we didn't get to see the scene of him telling her to shove the book up her ass.
Yeah, that made me sad too.
I love how supportive the dad is that he's just snickering right in front of the principal. No, that's funny as shit. Your teacher's an idiot.
And the parents aren't bad in this. I like the parents. Actually, the parents are probably my favorite characters in this because they're just trying to figure it out. I'm glad we actually, before we did the Shelf Stacker Box, I do want to talk about the parents. Because I think when I first saw this, I think they're kind of supposed to be written like your typical square parents. But I actually really empathize with them. They have a very challenging kid, and they're just doing their best, and they don't know what the hell, and they're just coping. The mom is just coping. She's not coping well, obviously. The dad is just trying to. They're just trying to figure it out, and they feel the most real out of all the characters in the entire movie. So me, I guess, as a parent who's also just trying to figure it out in the midst of life being chaotic, I really like the parents in this. I think they're really fun and good. Because I could totally see myself if my son was called to the principal's office because he was asking questions and some teacher got mad at him for asking questions. I would absolutely be like, dude, we're going to go get some dinner. Always ask questions. Ask questions, please. That's what you're supposed to do, damn it. So,
she used to be a gym teacher, for God's sake.
I mean,
I do. And my favorite line is one of my favorite lines in the home. Trying to get the mom to take the kids to the sparkle motion dance, whatever.
I doubt your commitment to sparkle motion.
Oh, I love that.
She had to defend the pedophile. You know what? Everything with her makes sense. She defends a pedophile. Mm-hmm. She's pushing religion.
God damn it.
She's definitely a conservative Republican.
You are so fucking close to this not being about modern commentary.
Welcome to Games by Momfile, where Mike finds a way.
One day
Chaos
we
Theory
will have
reigns.
a Games of Momfound episode that does not make fun of MAGA. Not that they don't deserve to be made fun of, but we will have an episode where we don't.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. It's just, I mean, when you present it in front of me, the joke air, I have to take it. And I
Uh.
behaved. But then the episode didn't end.
Sorry, I had to
Good
bring it to
enough for
parents.
this show.
The parents.
I once had somebody complain to me. They're like, "You don't need to make political jokes. We're here for video games." And I was like, "Okay." And then I went, "It's my show. I do what the fuck I want."
Yeah.
We don't have
do
to. We want to.
I do.
Yeah.
I like to make, especially the more and more like
God.
Mega gets in, like all the bullshit I go through and how unhappy I am when I go shopping and everything else in my life. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna make jokes. I'm gonna make shitty comments because I'm upset. So,
Yeah, and they also, just like you have the ability to control the show that you create, they also have the ability to not listen.
yes, I know.
They fully don't have to. That's fine. And we greatly appreciate all those who do.
I also have a level with it where it has to fit on topic. So if I'm going to go off the rails, it has to be something that is on topic to what we're doing. It's kind of my rule of thumb. Like, it has to fit.
Yes.
And to be fair, it does fit because, one, it's Iowa, and two, like, this movie has freaking speeches from George Bush in the background.
Yeah.
So
Well, this movie is seeped in this. Yeah, it's not. Yes. It's not subtle in how it treats its. It's not subtle in its politics or feelings about, again, religion or anything that's like that. So it's not shy about it. So I don't think we have to be shy about bringing that up.
I never am.
No, as you should not be.
Never will.
Have an opinion.
Okay. Any last things to say, or should we now go to Shelf Stacker Box?
I am good with that.
I'm good.
All right, I'll go first. Get the bad out of the way. I'm putting this in the box. My opinion has changed a little bit as we've been talking. I've had the movie playing in the background, but also one of my judgments is sometimes we put in the background when we're talking. I will actually watch the movie as we're talking and find myself getting more into it. I'm still bored. Even while talking about this movie, playing it in the background, I still have no interest in looking at it. So that right there, that's a box. When I'm that much about like, yeah, I don't care about your movie. Yeah, you're going in the box. And John.
It is on my shelf. So, shelf. I enjoy this movie a lot. I like the mindfuck movies. Those are fun. I've always liked those. This one, it's got problems. Stuff is not explained. There's stuff that I don't think should be explained. But I really enjoyed my time with this movie. I kind of want to watch it again right now. I'm glad I finally got around to watching it, and I think it will be on the rotation of stuff I watch once a year, probably from here on out.
And Bill.
Man, this is a challenging one. This shouldn't be as hard as it is, but I'm going to put this on the stack, and the only reason I'm putting it on the stack is that I do think this is an interesting movie to discuss, hence why I want to be on this episode. I don't like this, and I don't think I'm going to see it again, but you know what, Phoebe, you have a very good point. There may be a point in time in 10 years where I'm like, you know what? Let me see what old Richard Kelly was doing back in 2001 and see it again. I'm going to put this on the stack. Again, greatly respect the director for taking the swing. Greatly appreciate this for the story. I think there's a lot of good things in this. I think there's a lot of bad things in this. It's not something I don't think I'm going to seek out again, but I have to give the director his props for taking that swing and making one of the best student films probably ever made. So I'm going to give it a stack.
You and your student film joke. So true, but
yeah.
And Phoebe.
If you had asked a younger version of me, would have instantly been on the shelf, no questions asked. Very top shelf. And it's still going on the shelf. I still hold a deep appreciation for this movie and the multiple takes you can have for it. And it entered into my life at a point when I really needed it. So I love this movie and have a deep history with this movie. Maybe that's just personal bias, but it's going on the shelf.
Love it. You're allowed to have that personal bias. I love it. I think it's great.
This movie has a perfect soundtrack. Sure, some of the pacing.
Soundtrack's good.
The camera shots are a little weird, but it's a nice debut from somebody who was still finding out who they are as a director. Mm-hmm. And sadly, we may never get anything else from him.
Which is a bummer. And that's a shame.
Yeah, that is a shame. I wouldn't mind if he would have gotten more chances, but I guess, when you have 2 bombs in a row, you're kind of done. Especially when your bomb is that bad as Southland Tales was.
Yeah, no, didn't look great.
Had a lot of stars in it, though.
Yeah.
So I do remember that. A lot of fucking stars. I guess I don't have anything else to say. Let's go to plugs. And Bill, where can people find you at?
Oh, who knows at this point? Who really knows? I have 100 episodes of A Gamer Looks at 40. If you want to peruse those episodes, I don't think John's been on my show, but I think maybe no, I don't think so. But was that?
I don't think I have.
No, I don't think so either. I'm usually pretty good at remembering my guests, but there have been a lot of them over the 4 or so years I've been doing the show. But of course, the great Phoebe and the great Mike Albertin have been regular contributors to that show. I talk about games and the stories behind them and people's personal stories. And the reason I like personal stories is because you can't argue with someone who finds meaning in something like this movie. I can't argue with Phoebe loving this movie because she saw it at just the right time. I love those stories because you can't argue with that. And in a world where we argue about everything, I think finding things that are inarguable, like people's memories and stories, are good. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, go to agamerlooksat4040.com. All my everything is there, and enjoy. Oh, and also, by the way, I think I put it up on there. I don't. If I didn't, by the time this comes out, I will make sure I do that. I've actually put a playlist on my website of all my guest appearances on this very program.
Really?
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's well over 100. Awesome. There's like 120, I think I've been on something like that. I can tell you right now because I had to make a Spotify playlist and then import that over. It was a whole thing. It was during my working and I needed something to do. I literally was like, what can I do? I don't feel like making any shows. I don't feel like doing anything creative. But I need to do a thing. I need a task. I'm like, how about I make a playlist from my website of my guest appearances of things? That'd be nice. Like, I guess that sometimes I'm interested in those. I'm like, let me make one for games my mom found because I show up. And sure enough, I will tell you exactly right now how many episodes I've been on. 114. This will be number 115.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good. Out of the 800 and over 50 something that there are so far, that's pretty good.
It's like 1 out of 8. You're gonna hear my ridiculous voice on it. So there you go. So that playlist should be on my website. I'm not sure.
I didn't see it right now.
This releases,
cool.
I will put it up there.
Okay. This will release later this month because I'm trying to get out everything I can before Spooktober takes over.
Neat.
We'll see. We'll see how neat it is if I can get everything done I have planned in time. And Phoebe.
I am the Let's Play Princess. You can find me over on Twitch and YouTube underneath that name where I'm playing Kage, Shadow King, 13 Sentinels. I just started streaming Deltarune, which is amazing. You can find me over on Twitter and Blue Sky as the LP Princess, and you can find me on such wonderful podcasts as Gamer Looks at 40, Games My Mom Found, Jacqueline Presents King of the Big House, as well as the co-host of my own show, with Teachable 85, called Nerds A Broadcast, where we play games, talk about our week in nerdom, comics, movies, etc., etc. And then we do top threes about our favorite random things like album covers or long coats. Long coats like Dante and Harry Dresden was a recent episode. And the next episode, spoiler for the people that I'm currently talking to on this thing, is a spoiler cast about Expedition 33.
Ooh, very nice.
I still need to play.
Then don't listen to episode 55 because it will be spoiled.
It's next
it is
after I
a
finish this.
deep dive.
I'm looking through some of the episodes you were on, Bill. There's some of these I forgot that we did. I forgot you were on some of these.
Mega Man X7.
Oh, boy.
All right. And John, where can people find you at?
I think I'm going to be on a few more episodes coming up here on the games my mom found, so I will be here.
All right. Oh, and if you enjoyed this episode, we have a Patreon. You vote in our Patreon. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. It's $1 to vote in the polls. $10 you want me to promote your show. We do. That's how you can get movies to happen on the podcast. This actually was a Patreon poll, then it didn't win, and then Phoebe had suggested it years ago, literally years ago, and I said, fuck it, I'll do it, because I didn't know what to fill in the slot, and yeah. So, all right, vote on Patreon. This could have happened sooner if people would have voted for it. I'm happy they didn't, but it could have happened sooner. So, little dollar for the poll. If you want to be a part of the show, join our Discord. It's free. We're always having new people join us. I put openings there all the time, and I'm gladly take on new people. If you want to talk on a podcast, it doesn't take a whole lot. I'm happy to bring new people on and get everything to work for you. So join that, Lurk. I'm happy just to have people join. And I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Freak. Follow her on TikTok and Instagram. And check out absolutely the best podcast of Work in Progress. They talk about MC movies and MCU adjacent movies. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast. I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.